Hello everyone, welcome to today's lesson on developing the mood board. Let's begin by understanding why we actually need a mood board. In today's world, a designer cannot work by himself. He has different people and teams working together to realize his vision. For example, the design team consisting of interns, assistant designers, and pattern makers. The communications team working on the social media management, generating content to be posted on different platforms. Sending newsletters to customers, the marketing team working on creating ads and visuals to be published across platforms, the PR team trying to develop collaborations with celebrities and stylists, and on the consumer's end, the wholesalers and retailers need to understand the designer's vision to be able to sell his or her collection in their own stores. Hence, mood board, inspiration board, and trend boards are the sources of material and content for all these different teams, which help them share a common vision of the project, and it helps avoid noise and miscommunication between them. No matter what is the size of your brand, there are two boards which are always prepared when designing a collection. The approach might be different for each brand, but this step is never skipped. Mood board creates a general mood or an overall ambience of the collection. But these elements are not always incorporated into the final clothes. The inspiration board consists of elements which go directly into the collection and are integrated in the final pieces. Together, the mood and the inspiration board make up the storyboard. For example, if you're inspired by floral gardens, your mood board would be comprised of images of sunflowers and leaves or carefully trimmed bushes. But when you will do your creative research and obtain the results, for example, you conduct an X-ray of flowers to obtain interesting patterns and prints for your shirts. Another way to explain this concept is this. The mood board is the vision which you provide to your team, and the inspiration board consists of your team's interpretation of your vision. You can then come in and validate parts of the inspiration board which you find cohesive and in line with your vision. Let's now look at the elements of the mood board. The elements are easily derivable depending on the information needs of the teams working with you. There is some information which is required by all the partners, such as inspiration sources, while other information is more specific. For example, the choice of keywords to be used as hashtags on social media, or the choice of research techniques to be explored by the pattern makers. I would again like to specify that the classification which I am providing is an ideal situation. In real life, depending on the business model and strategies of different brands, some choose to exclude certain elements while others might add additional elements not listed here. So, the elements might include the source or sources of inspiration, images of landscapes, objects, quotes, phrases, or songs which inspired the collection, images of competitor brands and products, the collection codes for the collection, specifying the small garment details so the assistants can develop options for the collection. Your customers may or may not be part of your audience depending on your communication and marketing strategy. The specific elements of the inspiration board would then also depend on the teams you are working with. The different elements provided by all these teams would include the study pieces and research techniques conducted, illustrations and croquis, common elements of the collection, fabric samples, embroidery and lace samples, trend research, technical drawings, keywords, etc. Now let's look at some examples of mood boards, including some personal examples. I made a mini collection of 5 pieces inspired by the winter season and the beautiful natural effects and textures created by the snow on the trees. Plus, I had also included a limitation that I need to work with stripes no matter what. So I developed this mood board with images of frozen dew, frost, snow on the ground, the glitter effect when the sunlight hits the snow, the visible striped patterns on frozen leaves. From this mood board, I extracted the color card, as you can see on the right. The creative research which I did for this project included draping and pleating, shown as such on the left, and followed by illustration options. on the right. So the color card, draping pictures, illustrations together make up the inspiration board in this example because we can see concretely how and which exact and specific elements of the inspiration went into the final garment. Let's look at another one. For this next project, my inspiration came from the concept of energy. I called it Stuck in a Limbo. The keywords which defined this collection were initiation, intensity, energy, space, kinetic, depth, and force. And on the right, you can see the final mood board, which is evidently quite coherent with the keywords which I have used. I would like to mention here that all the images that I have used in the mood board are just present to communicate space or energy or intensity. None of these images went directly into the collection or the final pieces. Hence, this collection of images is called a mood board as it gives a general vibe or mood of the collection. From the mood board, I then extracted the color card and the possible fabric compositions I wanted to work with. As you might have seen in a previous lecture, I conducted the secondary volume research of collars, sleeves, hems, and shoulders from the designs already existing on the runway, and the primary research experimentation with the construction of the shoulders using shoulder pads. This was followed by the technical drawing of the jacket and the illustration. In real life, when boards are created for commercial collections, they are much more detailed, with every little detail integrated onto the inspiration board. To get more examples of mood board and inspiration boards, I invite you to explore Pinterest. In the next lesson, we will look at how to ensure that your collections are commercial and communicate a cohesive story.